My god. I never knew how much I needed something. This jukebox is fucking amazing! If you've seen my Archoplasmor video, you lot probably know that me and shotguns, well, we tend to agree to disagree.
No! God! No!
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. And as I mentioned in that video, I've not really been all that hyped for the 10-0 pump shotgun that has been in development hell alongside Half-Life 3 and Star Citizen. Well, much to the delight of everyone but me, it has finally been released. And as expected, it's just a shotgun. Yep, nothing unique about it at all. Just a pump-action shotgun. See, watch, I'll even see if it has an alternate fire. Wait, what? Okay, so yeah, this thing, now known to us as the Corinth, and I'm trying very hard to leave that joke to the thumbnail, turned out to be much more than just a shotgun. And that alternate fire actually bounds me off a bit, but I'll get into why that is later. First off, even as someone who isn't a big fan of shotguns, I have to admit, this thing looks amazing and it sounds amazing. Speaking of sound, I got a few people telling me after the Archoplasmor video that they thought that weapon sounded fine and that I was out of my goddamn mind. And, you know, that's just an opinionated sort of thing. I can't really argue with you there because there's nothing to argue about. But listen to the Corinth and tell me that it doesn't sound a million times better. It's not just the shot that's being fired that sounds nice, it's the pump, the reload. Everything about this just sounds so goddamn satisfying. Something about the clanking of the metal is just... ooh. Funnily enough, it also gives me an Archoplasmor vibe when it comes to its stats. That is to say, it's not ball-bustingly powerful like the Tigris Prime, but it's not a slouch either. It sits comfortably in the it's not the Tigris, but it's not the Phage category when it comes to shotguns. TLDR, it performs well and you can do some silly with it, like... have you ever wanted to play Duck Hunt with Grenier bodies? Now, I don't need to tell you how the primary fire works, it's exactly what you would expect from a standard shotgun. Hit fire, shoot mini bullet. I'm not gonna sit here and waste your time with that. Let's talk about the alternate fire instead to close off this video. You might recall me saying in the beginning that the alt fire is something that pisses me off. And you might naturally and rightfully ask, why though? Well, this is why. Why is this still a thing? Seriously now, DE cannot make up their goddamn mind when it comes to self-damage, and it grates on me. Okay, so, if you haven't gotten your hands on the Corinth yet, basically, its alt fire has a mechanic that makes it almost impossible for you to hurt yourself with it. In fact, through my testing, I couldn't successfully get myself hit with my own blast if I'm playing normally and not deliberately trying to hurt myself. Basically, the grenade has to travel a certain distance before it can become armed and explode. If it comes into contact with anything before it reaches that distance, it becomes inactive and it will not go kablooey. And at first, if you got your hands on this weapon, it might have seemed like an annoyance. But the intent is to give players a sense of pride and accomplishment for not blowing themselves up. Which, you know, that's nice and all, but I have to ask, why is this necessary? Why not just not have the handicap of self-damage in the first place? And I know, I'm beating a dead horse here. DE clearly is not going to get rid of self-damage anytime soon. The fact that they invested time into mechanics on things like the lens and this thing, all but prove that. I get that the idea is to prevent AoE launchers from being too good and too easy to use, but for fuck's sake, man, there's no penalty for using the alt fire with the Corinth and hitting something before it detonates. Hell, it still acts like a lethal projectile. So missing the explosion is about as big as a penalty as missing a regular bullet from any other gun. So why can't weapons like the Ogress, the Penta, and the Tsar get anything like this? But no, they worry that launchers with AoE and high damage would break balance. But like... Look, if we're not going to remove self-damage, I guess that's fine. But can we at least get mechanics like this on things like the Ogress? I can't tell you how many times I've been firing rockets at mobs, only to have a teammate cross me and f***ing